Hello, sunshines. So today I'm going to tell you the story behind the surgical correction of malrotation. So when I was born with my intestines outside my stomach. When this happens, 9 times out of 10, the infant will get a procedure known as the LADS procedure, which corrects it, especially for when they grow into an adult. The way my doctor explained it is when we're infants, everything hangs outside of our stomach because our belly is not big enough to accept the intestines. So as the baby grows, the intestines get accepted in. That never happened in my case because I'm special. No. That never happened. So when I was born, they were hanging outside my stomach. So they shoved them back inside me, sewed me up, and sent me on my way. I was fine until I was a teenager and I found myself in the hospital for a bowel blockage. I was in there for about a week. They gave me an NG tube through my nose, sucked it out, and sent me on my way. I've always had digestion issues, bloating, just weird stuff. But I never really thought a lot about it. I always just thought it was because I was special, because I was born with my intestines out. So fast forward to 2 days after my 34th birthday, where I found myself in the hospital and had to have emergency surgery for a bowel obstruction. They warned me during that procedure that it might cause another obstruction because basically the obstruction is kind of scar tissue, is a good way to word it. So, and once you go in there, the intestines is very fragile. It's almost like, what's that paper called that they tissue paper. It's almost like tissue paper. So the intestines is almost like tissue paper. It's very easily to tear and everything. That's how they explained it to me. So I knew I had that risk, but I didn't have a choice. I had to get that obstruction removed. So they did that procedure, caused another obstruction. A lot of y'all don't know this, but I spent 31 days in the hospital last May of 24. I couldn't eat. I had a PICC line in my right arm for nutritional input. And once I got released from the hospital, I was on a very strict diet, well, life-saving diet. It was clears and protein shakes, clear broths and protein shakes. Basically, I had to work my way back up to normal food. I was eating a lot of baby food, nutritional shakes, broths. I could eat ice creams. I can eat cheese. Isn't that crazy? I can eat and digest cheese. I don't know how or why, but I can. But I love cheese. Who doesn't? So I basically was on a very strict life-saving diet to make my tummy happy because anything that's hard to digest, my tummy does not like. So as I was progressing out of the hospital since May of 24, I started to add some other foods that you would eat, regular foods that adults eat. Well, as I was adding these foods, I could still feel my obstruction. So I kept going back to my surgeon and I was like, I don't think something's right in there. I can still feel it. When I bend a certain way, it would hurt. When I'd run, it would hurt. Just some odd things that weren't adding up. So that surgeon said I needed to follow up with my GI. I went and followed up with my GI, Dr. Pervez in Morgantown. Dr. Pervez was like, I have the man for you. So he sent me to Dr. Costa. When I walked into this appointment, I thought it was for a consultation. I thought it was just in case I needed surgery. I was wrong. No, totally wrong. So I walk in and it was just, I could feel it. They really wanted to see me. They wanted to know what I looked like, what was going on, everything. I honestly actually got sick at that appointment because I had ate regular food the night before. But I was also freaking out and having a panic attack because this doctor, when he walks in, he has a layout as if you're going to write an essay. And everything on this layout was doctor's appointments and every time I was sick in my life. And he knew all of it, all of it. And he starts to explain to me that every time I've been sick, they believe it's because of my guts. So a lot of people don't know, but the past couple years, I've been having a lot of medical issues. My heart will palpitate to the point where I pass out. And when I pass out, I almost cease to come back. It really hurts to come back to the real world. My blood pressure will shoot sky high and then drop really low. I'll almost have like seizure activity in my brain and I don't know what's going on. I just kind of freak out. It's just really weird. I like to be left alone. Weird symptoms just keep happening. I'll get really nauseous. I'll get really feverish. I get really hot sometimes. Sometimes I get really cold. So all these symptoms have been happening to me. Well, as I'm there, and he's going over all these doctor's appointments, from my neurologist to my cardiologist to even down to my gynecologist. He knew every single appointment. And he was like, we believe we know what's wrong with you. So in our bodies, we have a main vein known as the vena cava. I think I'm saying that right. And it runs everything in our system. It's like our neurological, cardiology, stomach. It's our whole system that controls this vein. This vein controls our whole system. So they believe that my intestines, from the way they are, and the malrotation from them being the gastroschisis and the malrotation, that it's affecting this main vein, and it's just causing all chaos in my body, which 100% makes sense, because when I go for these testings for the cardiology, the neurology, they keep coming back as normal. And I'm like, they can't be normal. Like, I can feel it. I know what's going on. You know what I mean? You know your own body. So from there, I start to have a panic attack. I freaked out. They helped me through it. I actually got really sick. Had to go use the bathroom. I was super sick. He was like, I seen the color just drain from you. He knew it. So they let me take my time, and they made sure I was okay. They let me come back, and he was like, this is going to keep happening to you. This is because of the malrotation. You need to have this surgery. It was very hard to take in. It's a lot to process. And then he also explained to me that during the procedure, they cut you. So I already have some scars because I was born with my intestines out. I had to have that obstruction removal in 2024. But this procedure is totally different. He said they will cut me from the top of my ribs all the way down. They will open me up, take everything out, and readjust it to look like yours. Yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot. Not only that, they also informed me that, so when I was in the hospital last time in May of 24, I was up there for 31 days because my intestines wouldn't wake back up. My small intestines wouldn't wake back up. So they told me that I could possibly be up there for months to almost a year just for rehabilitation, just until my body wakes up, if everything goes the way it's supposed to. That is what hit the hardest. They told me that I should find someone to live with because I'd need someone to help take care of me. It was a lot. So when I left the appointment that day, I was devastated. I was heartbroken. No one wants to hear that you have to go in for surgery. You don't know how long you'll be in there. This procedure's only been performed 150 times, so you don't know exactly how it's going to go. And then to just give up what you have is kind of difficult, very. So when I left that day, they gave me a study to bring home, which if you're freaking out, panic attack, and upset, you're not trying to read a study. The study is basically every person that's had the procedure, they've all went very well. The oldest person they have, she is, excuse me, she had it done when she was 50, I believe. She's now 80. So they told me that after this procedure, I shouldn't have to take no medications for my belly, because right now I take 4 every morning for my belly. So after this procedure, I shouldn't have to take any medications, and they told me that I should be able to eat normal foods and go about my way. They haven't scheduled the procedure yet, because when I heard all this, you can imagine that it was just overwhelming. So I asked them to give me 6 months, basically till the end of this year. They told me that they would, and I could, as long as nothing happened. If I have to go in for an emergency, they will take me up there and do it immediately. Sorry guys, I'm not trying to cry on you. I've cried a lot. I'll tell you, I cried every single day for like 2 months after they told me. That's why it took me a long time to accept it and be like, okay, this will be better in the long run, because I get sick a lot. Every time I eat, usually the next day I either have, I also like bloating, but sometimes I can't even drink liquids. This is like tea. It can obstruct from anything, even water. So it's a lot, but we're going to get through this. That's why I decided to reach out and let people come into my life, because it's freaking heartbreaking. Like, it's like it broke my heart. Like, I'm like the happiest go lucky person I know, and I felt like they just told me like, boom, like, stop living. So that's my story behind the surgical correction of malrotation. and what they're going to do and plan to do and why they have to do it. Definitely special. So yeah, I hope y'all come on this journey with me because I am terrified. I really am. But it's going to be okay. It will be okay.